When you have a baby in America, something strange happens. For 9 months, you're one of the most closely monitored patients in the entire healthcare system. Prenatal visits, blood work, ultrasounds, screenings, everyone is paying attention, and then you give birth. You leave the hospital. Then the next time you're scheduled to see your OB, 6 weeks later, one appointment. That's it. Nobody explains what's supposed to happen to your body during those 6 weeks. Nobody tells you what's normal. Nobody tells you what's right. Nobody checks whether you're recovering well, like genuinely well, beyond the normal. You just go home and figure it out. Because your body knows how to heal itself, right? But does it? Because those weeks can be brutal. The unexplained pain, the swelling, the strange feeling that your body doesn't belong to you yet. The sleep deprivation, the emotional roller coaster, the constant question, is this right? And here's the strange part. Many of these symptoms aren't severe enough to justify calling to your doctor, but they are also not nothing. They're somewhere in between. And somehow, we've accepted that mothers should navigate that entire space alone. Why? Before I answer that question, I want to say something clearly. Modern obstetrics is one of the greatest achievements in medical history. A little over a century ago, childbirth was genuinely dangerous, like life-threatening. Women died from infections, excessive blood loss, complications that today are often treatable. Advances in antibiotics, blood transfusions, surgery, and emergency obstetric care transformed childbirth. Millions of women are alive because of those advances, and I'm grateful for them. Personally grateful, because I was the beneficiary of modern medicine myself. I had a preterm labor with my first baby, and the baby had to spend time in the NICU, the neonatal intensive care unit. And for my next pregnancy, prenatal care played an important role in preventing another preterm labor. So what I'm about to say is not a rejection of modern medicine. It's almost the opposite. Modern medicine became so good at making birth safer that it unintentionally created a blind spot. The entire system became organized around one central question: is the birth safe? And that includes mainly two things. 1. Is the baby okay? 2. Is the mother medically stable? If the answer is yes, the mission is accomplished. The emergency is over. The patient can go home. And you should be happy to be going home. But another question never received the same attention. What happens after safe delivery? How is this body supposed to recover? What does recovery actually look like? How do we support that process as a community? Okay, now, those questions weren't emergencies, so they gradually fell outside the center of medical attention. That's the paradox. The better we became at preventing death during childbirth, the easier it became to overlook postpartum recovery. And this isn't just a postpartum story. It's part of a much bigger conversation around the women's health. Over the last few years, you've probably noticed these changes of the landscape around the women's health. Suddenly, everyone is talking about menopause. Doctors like the American OBGYNs, public figures like Oprah Winfrey and Melinda Gates. Women are speaking openly about symptoms that were ignored for decades. Hot flashes, sleep disruption, mood changes, brain fog, sudden weight gain, and many women are asking, why did nobody tell me this? A lot of OBGYNs are asking the same question. Some have openly admitted that menopause received very little attention during their medical training. Women were often told, it's just aging, just bear with it. It's stress, and in worst cases, it's all in your head. The suffering was real, but the system didn't know how to see it. Why? Because once reproductive function ended, women's health became less visible. That's the uncomfortable argument many menopause advocates are making today. And honestly, I think they are right. But what fascinates me is this. While everyone is talking about the menopause revolution, almost nobody is talking about postpartum recovery in the same way. And yet, postpartum follows the same exact pattern. During pregnancy, women receive constant care, constant attention. After birth, attention drops off dramatically. The assumption becomes, you'll recover, you'll adapt, you'll figure it out. And if you struggle, well, that's just motherhood. Well, everybody else is going through the same thing. Do you see the resemblance with the menopause? It's just aging. It's stress. It's all in your head. I didn't always think about postpartum this way. I grew up in South Korea and worked as a licensed Korean medicine doctor within the national healthcare system. And in Korea, the idea that mothers need a recovery after birth is so culturally accepted that most people don't even question it. Not only the culture, the support is also built into the system. Then I came to New York. I studied medical anthropology. I got married. I became a mother. And for the first time, I experienced American motherhood from the inside. That was when I noticed something that I'd never seen before. America has built one of the most advanced systems in the world for getting a baby safely into the world. But there is a remarkably little structure for helping a new mother recover after birth. Not because Americans don't care, not because doctors don't care, because culturally and medically, recovery has never occupied the same space that pregnancy and childbirth do. Medical anthropology teaches you to look at healthcare as a social system, to pay attention not only to what medicine treats, but also to what medicine overlooks. And once I saw American postpartum through that lens, I couldn't unsee it. To be fair, things are starting to change. The phrase fourth trimester has become increasingly common, and I think it's a very important development because it recognizes something mothers have always known. Birth is not the end of pregnancy. Recovery is part of the process too. People are talking more openly about postpartum depression, identity changes, physical recovery, pelvic floor rehabilitation. And organizations like the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists have encouraged more postpartum follow-up. All of that is progress. Real progress. But recognizing a problem and actually solving it are two different things. Right now, the concept is there. It's emerging more in public. The system has a lot to catch up. Here's something I found interesting. Many cultures around the world developed postpartum traditions long before modern medicine existed. They all look different. In Latin America, there is La Cuarentena. In China, it's called Zuoyuezi and translated as confinement practices. India, the Middle East, and Africa, they all have their own versions. In Korea, we have postpartum care centers and home visit programs that sort of materialized all the beliefs and culture. Even in Western countries like the UK, France, and the Netherlands, the government provides some kind of structured postpartum recovery. Different cultures, different beliefs, different practices, but they all share one underlying idea. Regardless of how wealthy the country is and how much modern medicine is accessible to people, a new mother deserves recovery, and the society has to protect it. Not because she's sick, not because she's weak, but because birth is physically demanding and recovery is complicated. This is somehow what modern medicine often struggles to provide. Healing doesn't end when you're discharged from the hospital. In many ways, that's when it actually begins. A revolution is happening around the menopause. Women are refusing to accept dismissal. They are demanding recognition. They are demanding care. And medicine is beginning to respond. I believe postpartum is next. I think it has to be, because the gap is real, not only in medicine and healthcare, but in culture, in awareness, in how we think about mothers after birth. Your body does not instantly bounce back. And if recovery feels harder than you expected, that doesn't mean that you're failing. It may simply mean you've been left to navigate all of it alone without a recovery framework and societal support. In the next video, I want to talk about what is actually happening inside the postpartum body during this recovery window. Because once you understand what's happening, you'll start to see why postpartum care isn't a luxury. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.